Well, good morning and welcome to another week on the allotment. It is, well, it's just about 5:30 and noticeably the mornings are getting lighter, a little bit later now. You know, we've passed the longest day of the year. But anyway, it's still bright and early. It's a lovely day in store, I'm sure. And today's a special day on the allotment because this evening is our little social get-together. I don't know how many people will be there. It can always be a little bit hit and miss, but there'll be the usual people, the ones who tend to support the dues every time. So I'm looking forward to that. And there's been a shift on my allotment, a shift in emphasis. And by that I mean up to about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, the emphasis was on keeping the weeds down, keeping the crops from having to compete with the weeds and allowing them their ability to grow unhindered. Lots of watering, again still no rain this week. There is some forecast at the end of next week or the end of this coming week, but the forecasts are a bit hit and miss, and they say, you know, we were meant to have a heavy rainfall 2 nights ago. It never materialised, so we'll see. But so lots more watering. However, the shift is over now to harvesting. Cheryl's coming up later today and she's going to help me with the fruit, most notably the black currants. But there's lots of stuff to pick, and we definitely got to buy ourselves another freezer, because I am very keen that we don't lose the crops I've grown. So we need to have more freezer space so that we can eat the beans that are developing, the peas, the broccoli, the cauliflower, all these things. If we can't eat them on the spot, then I want to freeze them and enjoy them through the winter. So yeah, the emphasis has shifted. The other thing, which you might have noticed in front of me, is that it's that successional sowing, and that's what I've been trying to concentrate on this year. That's the thing in the other 2 years of having an allotment that I haven't got right. So I've got some more broad beans, going to try again with those, and I've got some kale to go in. I've got some more Monclano calabrese. That's been very successful. I like to eat that raw with a little bit of hummus, and that's what I've been doing with it. We have frozen some, but that was very successful. The clubroot resistant variety Monclano. So I've got some more of those to go in, and then I've got some Romanesco cauliflower. The chap on the plot next to me last year, in some of the crops that he plants and then leaves, amazingly, despite the fact that he never tends them, never weeds around them, he does nothing, doesn't even water them, they grow magnificently, which is testament to the fact that if you just leave nature alone, it thrives. It doesn't need managing, it just needs leaving alone. And his Romanesco cauliflowers, I mean, they bolted, or they eventually went over and they just rotted on the plot like everything else he grows. However, for that moment, they were beautiful. They're a small, natural work of art, and I took a photo of them. So I thought, right, this year, I'll give them a go. And I shall tend them, and I will look after them, and I will love them, and they'll probably fail. But, you know, you've got to try these things. And then I've got some more Waltham butternut, as if I haven't got enough. We do love the butternut, makes wonderful soups. Roasted, it goes in vegetable dishes that we eat hot in the winter. They're just so usable in so many dishes and diverse dishes that Cheryl has given me instruction this year that we are to overdose on butternut squashes, and that's what I'm trying to do. So these have all got to go in today, and I know that one of the things you're supposed to do is chop off the calabrese, leave the plant, and then it will develop smaller shoots. Well, I'm sorry, but I haven't got time for that. They've got to come out, and I'm putting these new plants in and filling those beds. So lots to do today. I wanted, crucially, to grow some, develop some new strawberry plants off these runners, and I forgot to bring the small pots I need. So I might have when other people arrive later, I might have a wander around and see if I can scrounge some small pots. But yeah, lots to do. Really looking forward to it. I'm in a very lucky position because we alternate our weekends. And so every other weekend for me is a long weekend. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And we go away in a caravan, usually. And I have a sort of a 3-hour rule. So anywhere that's within 3 hours of Chepstow, we'll go for the weekend. Any more than that, I don't really want to drive that far for a weekend. So we have some lovely weekends away. And on the weekends we're not away in the caravan, I'm up here on the allotment. So I am very fortunate. And I know that, and I enjoy every minute of it. But this weekend is an allotment weekend, and got my cup of tea, got this lot to do, got the whole place to myself. And while we've got the place to ourselves, I thought I might have a little wander around and have a look how other people's plots are doing. It's always good to have a little nosy. So, and I'm trying to convince other plot holders to do a little bit on camera, but people are quite shy and reluctant. So I shall just have to keep trying to persuade them. But while they're not here, we'll have a wander around. But first of all, I'm going to drink my tea and have that customary wander around the site and look at my plot, like the lord of the manor, surveying his land. And of course then they've got to get the hoe out. Lots and lots of hoeing, as always. Do it lots, do it often. Do it all the time. Cheers. Okay, so we're starting on the B plots. They're numbered or lettered A and B's, and this is the B row where I am. We're starting on this far side. This plot is held by John, and he's worked wonders. It's all looking very, very lush and fertile. I'm being a bit naughty and walking straight through the middle of the plot, so I've got to watch where I put my feet. I have already wrecked my route. Got outdoor tomatoes, onions, lots of courgettes. These look like peppers. Not sure, I think they're peppers. And then this next plot has been taken on by 2 ladies this year. I think one of their names is Kay. Apologies to the 2 ladies, I can't remember their names. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty. They seem a bit fiddly to eat, but you can't deny their beauty to look at. And they're working very hard and really sorting their plot out. Got lots of crops in. Ah, there's one of those strawberries with a red flower. I've seen a lot of those in the seed magazines. This plot is Lima's. She works away, so her family are looking after the plot, and they seem to be doing a remarkable job. And I was looking earlier, the tomatoes in here are supersized. Oh, it looks like they're starting to turn. My goodness. That really is the holy grail of tomatoes in there. Yes. Wonderful. And Terry and Joe have the next plot. Terry's really got the bit between the teeth this year, and has really made great strides in sorting his plot out. He's got lots of crops to go in there. He's clearly at a point of creating more raised beds. And yeah, real advancements in his plot. Good to see. Yet again another polytunnel. Ooh. You've got a hole on your plot, Terry. You need to fill that in. Health and safety, mate. And then we come to John. John's plot is immaculate, always very well tended. He's lucky enough to be full-time retired, and you know, it shows and reflects on his plot. Oh, he's got a cat scarer as I'm moving, unless it's one of those automated cameras, in which case he's caught me. Yes, his plot is very productive this year. He spent most of last year sorting it out. It was a hell of a mess when he took it on. And then we come to Steve and Nikki. And Steve and Nikki have had a few setbacks with their crops being eaten by pests, notably the slugs and snails. And of course they both work full time, so don't get up here much. And hopefully we'll see them later today. And another John. I've mentioned this plot before. Not a lot happening on it, if I'm fair. And then we find ourselves back at mine. So I hope that gives you some idea of this side of the allotments, and another time I'll take you on a tour of the lower ones, the A row. Anyway, I've got a tea to drink, and then I really should get stuck in. Oh, there goes a pigeon. Had trouble taking off because its belly's so full. Actually, before I do start work, I thought I'd just do the plot tour. And I'm starting in reverse order with the carrot tubs. I have actually thinned them out a little, and we've had some very small baby carrots in a meal last weekend, so we made a bit more space. So they've been a real success. I'd really like to get some more of those tubs and repeat that each year. The blueberry bushes really have come good this year. Lots and lots of blueberries. Cheryl's chuffed to bits with that. I've got to lift up that netting a bit more, the enviromesh on those Brussels sprout plants. Strawberries are now finished. I've taken the netting off. I thought, you know, the pigeons and the slugs, if they want them, they can have what's left. Parsnips are looking good. Lots of beetroot there as well. The flower bed this year was a bit of a failure. All those giant Russian sunflowers have been eaten. French beans. They're not very good climbers, are they, French beans? But they're making their way slowly. Cheryl's coming up later, hopefully, to pick the blackcurrants. The cauliflower are there in the centre one, and the red cabbage Ladero. So far so good. No sign of clubroot. Don't want to speak too soon. My red onions over there, they're doing fine. These, I need to tie these sweet peas in a bit and try and get them vertically up that obelisk. Let's go this way. The autumn, these are all autumn fruiting raspberries, and it's only July, but they're already starting to show some red. Leeks, lots of leeks. We want lots of leeks. Again, a bit of weeding to be done there. Do that today. Peas, that's another one Cheryl can pick. I potted some peas yesterday and put them in the freezer. That's good news, something for the winter. These beans have got away slightly, and they're going up the arch. And then the pumpkin bed, again, really coming good. Very pleased with that. There are some very small pumpkins showing now. They're only the size of a golf ball, but it's showing promise. As is the butternut squash bed. If those of you that follow me will know, I showed you these plants about 2 weeks ago, and they were tiny. I could have put the palm of my hand over some of those plants. Well, we've had a lot of heat, and I've been fairly good at watering them, and it's showing. They're coming good. We had our first picking of my second early potatoes a couple of days ago. I dug up the first plant. In fact, I left the fork there. And I'm going to dig up some more today. Not many of them. They are Charlotte, obviously named after our daughter. But they were very nice. Made some potato salad for our barbecue this evening. So I should be picking up, or digging up another plant of that today. The white onions, they're looking good as well. One's gone to seed, but no others, so very happy with that. More butternut squash. I threw some celeriac and some more peas in the bottom end. They seem to be doing okay. Peas. Blimmin' loads of peas. You can't have too many peas, can you? And these purple pod, or purple snap, called Purple Delicacy, I think they finally stopped going upwards. I'll try and pick all those off today, but they are particularly nice when they're lightly boiled. There we go again, the wind is blowing them this way. Now these runner beans, what a difference between the runner beans and the French climbing beans. Runner beans are really vigorous climbers. Sweet corn, again that's looking good. There's a couple of cucumber plants in there, mixed in, with the beetroot round the edge, which is bulking up nicely. And here we come now to my favourite part of the allotment this year. My bean arch. And they have now met in the middle. It's official. A little bit of tying in to be done there. And then we come to the courgettes. And I had a couple of sweet corn plants left over. It looks like they're losing the fight to get up above the courgettes, but I'm really not too fussed. More butternut. In fact, there we are, look. I've got a butternut squash. That's the first one I've noticed. Ooh, oh, there's an apple over there. I thought someone had had a butternut off one of my plants. It's a small apple. And look at this beauty. Oh, Barry, eat your heart out, mate. That's a thing of beauty. Atlantic giant. Pumpkin Atlantic giant. Oh, makes my heart sing, that does. Okay, so nearly at the end. Two more courgette plants. Oh crikey, look. There's a whopper in there. But yeah, they're doing very well in those compost heaps. And then we come to the new bit of ground with the main crop potatoes, a couple of tomato plants, marmande. They seem to be doing okay. Bit of tying in needed there. And then the dwarf French beans Mystic. They are quite attractive plants. They had lovely purple flowers on them. And now they're full of beans, so I'm going to give them a water today, let them carry on. And then I'm going to do what Cliff from Castle Hill Gardens did. I'm going to pick them all out of the ground and then pick them off the plants, sat on a seat. There's a sweet potato there. I have no idea what you do with sweet potato. I've planted it there, I've watered it, and apart from pushing that French bean plant out of the way, it seems to be doing all right. Rhubarb's looking good. No pickings this year because it was transplanted, but I shall be looking forward to picking that next year. And then the main crop potatoes, more of them, Sarpomira. Oh, and Kerr's Pink. I thought they were all Sarpomira. Goes to show the importance of labelling. And then these blackberry bushes that I inherited on my plot, again looking like a promise of a good crop to come. So that gives you a flavour of the plot at the moment as we stand sort of mid-July. couldn't look better. I'm very pleased with it. Right, I really must do some work. Oh. Should really watch what I'm doing here. It's just before 7 and I think it's about time that kettle was screaming at me. But before I do, I just got the last 2 butternut squashes to put in, and I'm cutting the plastic bottles. It's amazing how many plastic bottles allotmenteers use. We are genuine. Is it upcycling or recycling? I don't know. Being attacked by a bee. That's really odd. Yeah, I don't know whether it's upcycling, recycling, downcycling. It's some kind of cycling. Yeah, that on a pole, and that just under the surface, which means rather than the water hitting the dry surface of the soil, which is baked hard at the moment, it goes under the surface, and you don't get this puddling where it just drifts across and doesn't water anything in particular. But if I can get that just under the surface, then the water is absorbed down into the soil and goes straight down to the roots. So that's the aim with the old plastic bottle. And then if and when the leaves do get large and provide a canopy, then these I'll just put more bottles on. I have to drink a lot more squash, clearly, and then I water straight into those. That's the theory. Oh, that's a really nice root system. Really pleased with that. As a plant, it could not be better. And if you look down in the hole, you know, there's moisture down there. Amazing when you think how little rain we've had in the last few weeks, and yet still there's moisture in the soil. Yeah, so that's going to make sure I don't leave any air pockets. But that's a really good healthy plant, and the most important bit now is to track where they run, like this runner here, and try and decongest the bed. And with the chicken wire around the edges, for some reason they seem attracted to the edges, to the chicken wire. When you want them to go straight across the beds, they don't. They head straight for the chicken wire and out through and escape. I guess just everything wants to be free. Anyway, there. Good looking plant, good root system, good healthy growth. I'll go and get some water now, water that in, and they're away. I ought to go around and see how many of these exactly I've got. There's quite a few. Anyway, let's get this other one planted. Well, that's the butternut squashes in, those 3 plants I brought up with me. And I just had a wander around the plot. I can tell you I have 26 butternut squash plants in 3 beds. 26 in total. So even if they only produce 2 squashes per plant, you know, that would be over 50 butternut squash. I'd be very happy with that. That's being optimistic, that they all produce and that the weather continues to keep warm and promote growth. But every indication is so far that it is. Although I have to say, since I've been here this morning, it's become decidedly cooler. And it really does, the sky looks quite ominous. The forecast is one of dry, warm weather today. In fact, quite hot. But as usual, the weather forecast is a guess, and they seem to have got it wrong. But we'll see what happens later today. So yeah, 26 butternut squash in the ground. All I'm going to do now is water them. So let's get that done. And then I'm stopping. I've been working now for nearly 2 hours. and I'm going to get the kettle on. Now, I mentioned earlier that this arch is my favourite part of my allotment. Well, I was just carrying stuff to the compost heap and it just became even more favourite. Is there such a thing? Yeah, I've got beans. I wasn't expecting that so soon. Yeah, fantastic. Another crop to pick today. There's not enough hours in the day, is there? Yeah, once again, another healthy root. Really pleased with that. No sign of club root at all. And it was a lovely plant, very tasty. Cool, you can smell the brassica smell on it. Yeah, very happy. Even evidence of the lime that I put on it. Wonderful. That bed's now been replanted, relimed with more Monclano Calabrese and some Romanesco cauliflower towards the back. Watered in, weeded, they're on their own. I am carrying out a highly scientific experiment. Barry on one of the other plots has just brought over a ginormous slug, and I've sprayed this cauliflower plant with my garlic spray, and I've put the slug in the pot, and try as I might, this slug will not eat that plant. He keeps trying to go down the side of the pot. He will not go onto that cauliflower. So there you have it. Scientific, objective, evidence-based. That slug will not eat that plant. Happy days. Well, just about finished my picking. So courgettes, kohlrabi, broad beans, a few runner beans, calabrese, second early potatoes, shallot, lots of garden peas, gooseberries, blackberries, raspberries and blueberries. So that's the weekend's food sorted out. I'm sure there's a meal in there somewhere. Makes all that work totally worthwhile.
And then you wonder when you're going to get skin. Do you want to put these mushrooms?
I think it's one of the best areas to do it because it's one of the most reliable places to do it. Yeah, I mean that would be the place that I wouldn't mind going, but I don't want to have this 2-year plan.
Well, it's actually the next day and we've come up on a beautiful afternoon with the primary aim of picking mostly fruit before it goes off. It would be a crying shame to let anything fall off and not be used after having looked after it for so long. So Cheryl's doing a good thing, and we've just bought a new little trug for fruit picking. She's a picking machine, bless her. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, I appreciate it. And hit the like button if you think you can. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.